It gives me great honor at this time to welcome to today's commencement speaker, the Lieutenant Governor of the great state of Indiana, Suzanne Crouch, a great friend of our community and a great friend of Trine University. A dedicated advocate of the Hoosier State, Lieutenant Governor Suzanne Crouch is a shining example of achievement and public service for Trine University graduates. Proud to have been born and raised in Evansville, Indiana, she previously served as the Indiana State Auditor from January 2014 until December 2016. Before becoming auditor, she served as state representative for House District 78, which encompasses parts of Vanderburgh and Warrick Counties. She was elected to the seat in 2005 and served as vice chair of the Ways and Means Committee and on the Public Health Committee. Throughout her years of public service, Lieutenant Governor Crouch has been focused and committed to programs and services for people with disabilities. She was honored to receive the 2012 Public Policy Award from the ARC of Indiana for her work with disabilities and was named Legislator of the Year in 2011 by the Indiana Association of Rehabilitation Facilities. Prior to serving in the House of Representatives, she spent 8 years as auditor of Vanderburgh County. During that time, her office received its first clean bill of health in decades from the State Board of Accounts. She then went on to serve as Vanderburgh County Commissioner until joining the House. She presided as president of that body during her third year in office. As Lieutenant Governor, she oversees a portfolio that includes the Indiana State Department of Agriculture, Indiana Housing and Community Development Authority, Office of Defense Development, Office of Community and Rural Affairs, and the Office of Tourism Development. In addition, she also serves as the chair of the Indiana Counterterrorism and Security Council, is president of the Indiana Senate, and the Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities Task Force. She graduated from Mater Dei High School in Evansville and went on to receive her bachelor's degree from Purdue University, majoring in political science, and 4 years later met her husband, Larry Downs. Together, they have a grown daughter. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please join me in welcoming Trine University's 2019 commencement speaker, the Lieutenant Governor of the state of Indiana, Suzanne Crouch.
Good morning. Good morning. All right, that's what we're talking about. To President Brooks and to my many friends here at the university, and to you, the Trine University class of 2019, it is such an honor to be here with you today. And thank you for allowing me to be here for the conclusion of this chapter of your life and the commencement of the next chapter. And to all of you graduating today, congratulations. You should be very proud of yourselves. If you had told me when I was graduating from college that I would one day be before you speaking, addressing you, I would never have believed you. If you'd have told me that I would get involved in politics and end up being the Lieutenant Governor of the great state of Indiana, I would have laughed. But it's why we must all be prepared to step into the unknown. And by taking that first step, we often find life's purpose and splendor. So for those of you feeling anxious today, don't. Embrace every new chapter of your life, particularly the ones that haven't been scripted yet. My daughter graduated as a member of the class of 2015, and during a conversation shortly before graduation, she shared with me that she was very anxious because she didn't have a clear plan or a career path. And I will tell you the same thing I told her. Be true to yourself. and follow both your passions and your promise. And these are the things that are worthy of the hours and the days of our life, because those hours and those days are your most precious commodity. The important thing is to live your life and live it your way. Beyond having the courage to step into the unknown, I would encourage you to be tough. These days we see far too much entitlement and not enough grit. And I learned that lesson very young, as a young girl. In fact, I would call it a life-defining moment. I was probably 11 or 12, and I'd experienced a growth spurt. I was just actually 3 inches shorter than I am today. So, needless to say, I was taller than all the kids in the school and most of the teachers. And so as the kids do, they would call me the Jolly Green Giant, which was funny to them. But for a young girl struggling to fit in, it was a very painful time in my life. And I remember talking to my father, and what he said defined me even to today. My father said that when kids are making fun of you, it's because they themselves are insecure. So he suggested that I turn the teasing into a joke I was in on. So the next time they called me the Jolly Green Giant, I responded with a hearty ho, 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 and the teasing stopped. But that lesson has remained a lifetime. You see, my father taught me to be a voice for compassion and empathy. And I would say to you, always be that voice of compassion and empathy. And if you get knocked down, have the toughness to stand up, brush yourself off, and continue to move forward. But my father also taught me to accept and respect myself. And when I could accept and respect myself in spite of all my imperfections, then I could accept and respect the differences in other people. And I soon came to realize that it's those differences that make each of us so unique and adds to the beauty of the world. And that perspective shaped me in my formative years, and it remains with me today. That is why I would advocate for you to find your promise and your passion. Abraham Lincoln said it perfectly. He said, "The best way to predict your future is to create it." Think about that. The best way to predict your future is to create it. And that is exactly what you've been doing here at Trine University through your outstanding programs and initiatives, such as Innovation One. I am fortunate that this is one of my many visits to your beautiful campus. And I have witnessed firsthand the forward-thinking and pioneering nature of this university. And as I learned while visiting Innovation One, students receive hands-on experience with real-world projects, from developing a voice aid device to a hands-free automatic shower. These projects and experiences will not only benefit your future employers, but they benefit your fellow Hoosiers, your community, and the world. Trine University is such a special institution that is training our future leaders and helping prepare them for success with an impressive 99.7% placement rate. That is such an important aspect of ensuring that Indiana's workforce is prepared for the future. The accomplishments of Innovation One and the university as a whole is making a mark. And I am so excited to be able to see the work that you all are going to achieve in the future. You know, I know when I graduated from college, I set off to make my mark in the world. And I worked in the private sector as a realtor, small business owner, stockbroker, and worked for a public television station. And while I learned a lot from those professions, it wasn't anything I was really passionate about. You see, I really wanted to make a difference for the world. And I believe in that simple truth that we leave things better than we found them, and that includes our community. And so after different career paths and feeling like something was missing, I took a chance and ran for political office. I mean, after all, I was a political science major. Well, in doing so, I fell in love with the political process. I learned how it connects you to people and how through it you can make a difference. So I'd love to tell you that I ran for office and I won, and here I am today. I ran for office and I lost. And while it was personally devastating, I learned much more from that loss than I ever have from any of the wins I've had. So when I ran for office that first time, it didn't cross my mind that I could lose. I had so much confidence in the direction I wanted to take my life that it never dawned on me that I could not win. You see, I believed that I could control my own destiny. And as a result, I struggled greatly when things did not go the way I had planned them. I believed that I was the center of my own universe, and it was a universe that I could control. It wasn't until several years later, on a whitewater rafting trip, that I had a moment of realization. I realized that I was not the end-all be-all to the universe, and I am not the one in control of my life. So for those of you who, like me, are type A personalities, take a trip on the rapids. You'll see how much control you have. But on that trip, while enjoying the beauty and the majesty of the Grand Canyon, sleeping under constellations and watching stars shoot across the sky, it suddenly dawned on me that I was just a very small part of the universe, and certainly not the center of it. An abiding faith that was nurtured early in life was awakened. Man could not possibly be responsible for what I was witnessing. And it was that realization that was so liberating for me. You see, I suddenly understood that I didn't have to be in control of my life. I simply had to live it with meaning and purpose. And it was that realization that set me free. I didn't have to be in control of my life. I truly could serve others. Now, I could tell you about all the famous people that became successful after they failed miserably that first time, but I'm not going to do that. I think anybody who is passionate about what they are doing, even if they stumble and fail, is important. And that might include your teachers, your parents, or perhaps even yourself. So eventually I ran for office again and I won. And so began my journey in public service. And I served at the local level and then went on to serve at the state level as a state representative, auditor of state, and now as your lieutenant governor. I am such a believer that things happen for a reason. And sometimes you just have to take a leap of faith and accept opportunities that they're presented to you, even if it takes you on a different path. So this brings me back to the conversation I had with my daughter and the fact that she didn't know what she was going to do with her life and where our conversation ended. So I shared my story with her much like I'm doing with you today. I said, it's okay if you stumble and fail, as long as you pick yourself up and continue to move forward. Don't ever look back. And I told her the countless opportunities she is going to have to make a difference in this world. So I am now going to tell you it's okay if you stumble and fall, as long as you pick yourself up and always move forward, never look back. So in closing, I'd just like to share with you 3 things. Embrace the unknown. Have grit and be tough. And let go and let God. And know that everything is part of a grander design. Like me, it might take you a little while to find your path and your passion in life, but that's okay as long as you're always moving forward, never looking back. And I know that Trine University has prepared you for the challenges and the successes ahead. I am so excited about the countless opportunities you're going to have to make a difference in our world. And I'm so honored to be here to share in that next chapter of your life. So congratulations to you, the Trine University class of 2019, and God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor Crouch. Trine University follows a long-established academic practice of recognizing, through the granting of honorary degrees, those distinguished individuals who have realized significant achievement in their respective fields or who have made substantial contribution to the work of this university. We have the privilege this morning of recognizing one such outstanding individual, Lieutenant Governor Suzanne Crouch. I asked Dr. John Shannon, our Vice President for Academic Affairs, and our special guest, Lieutenant Governor Crouch, to please come forward and join me at the podium as we award the Honorary Doctor of Humane Letters. By virtue of the laws of the state of Indiana and the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Trine University, by the direction of trustees and upon recommendation of the faculty, I am pleased to confer upon you the honorary degree of Doctor of Humane Letters with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities appertaining thereto, and in testimony whereof we invest you with this hood, I present you with this diploma. Congratulations, Dr. Crouch.
Thank you.